What is happening, everybody? It's the Miami Football Fanatic here again. Happy to have all you Dolphins fans back here for another video. In today's video, going to be discussing the Dolphins draft options with the 42nd overall pick, our second round draft pick. Many more ways we can go here in the second round than if we were, picking 11th in the first round. Because the 11th pick is such a high value pick, there really is about half a dozen to 10 guys who you really should be taking there with the 11th pick. But being the second round, you've got much more wiggle room, many more guys that we could look at, and there's just many more directions or philosophies we could go with here in the second round. So going to be taking you through all the positions, the guys who in my opinion are worthy of the 42nd overall pick. So without further ado, let's get to it. So obviously here, going to be starting with quarterback position, and the number one guy who I'd love to see taken for us in the second round at quarterback is Mason Rudolph. Even though there's a huge chance he's taken like super early second round, but there is a tiny chance that he could drop to the 11th pick, the 10th pick in the second round. So Mason Rudolph, he's got all the tools you want. He honestly has a look of a first round quarterback, but he might even go in the late first round. But I don't see many teams. Let's go have a quick look here who's picking later on in the first round. So the Jaguars, Minnesota Vikings, Patriots, or Eagles, Steelers. So honestly, any of those teams could pick it. Like the Steelers could do with a younger guy to develop behind Big Ben, especially with Big Ben, teasing his retirement and kind of thinking about his retirement last off season. There's a good chance that the Steelers could take him. Jaguars, same thing. A guy to develop behind Bortles, maybe surpass him in the future. And Bortles has got a very tradable contract after that 3-year, $54 million contract. That's about $18 million a year. So that's an extremely tradable contract, especially for a starting quarterback. So the Jaguars could take Mason Rudolph. Same with the Vikings, even though they have. I'm sure they're not going to be paying Case Keenum. I mean, he's going to get big money on the open market. Some team out there is going to pay him, whether it's the Browns or the Jets. Any of those teams could take a good look at Case Keenum. The Patriots definitely could. Actually, that's a giant possibility that the Patriots take Mason Rudolph. Obviously need a quarterback. Trading away Garoppolo and Brissett. So, this isn't looking good now. Like looking at the teams picking before us in the first and early second round. And obviously the last pick, Eagles, they're probably not going to. They're pretty much set with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. The Browns are picking first in the second round, so there's a chance that Rudolph could go to them. Then we got the Giants, and then the Browns again. Colts, Jets, Buccaneers, Chicago Bears, Broncos, Raiders. So the Giants could take him. Broncos. But like I said, there's a slight chance. Spending way too much time here on Mason Rudolph, but just wanted to have a good look to see just how much of a chance we do have him. We do have to take him in the second round because I really like him as a quarterback prospect. Like he's got everything you want. He's got the size, he's got the arm, and he's got the smarts. So Mason Rudolph definitely is my number one chance in the second round. Another quarterback who could drop to the second round, who definitely will, is Lamar Jackson. The chance he could be there, but I'm not as big as on Lamar Jackson than Mason Rudolph. I really don't think his play style and his size really translates to the NFL. He isn't really like a stocky guy. Really could see him getting injured, similar to RG3. I mean, RG3 was absolutely tearing it up in his rookie year, but ended up getting hurt in the playoffs. Could see Lamar Jackson even though he probably is much quicker than RG3. Lamar Jackson, really don't see his game translating to the NFL, so I'd rather take a pass on him in the second round. Okay, so moving on to running back. The options in the second round would be Ronald Jones, Sony Michel, Rashad Penny, and Kerryon Johnson. Ronald Jones, behind Barkley, is my favourite running back in this draft. He's just incredibly explosive, similar running style to Kenyon Drake. Sony Michel has the look of a dominant NFL running back. Rashad Penny has everything you want. He's got size, he's got power, he's got incredible ability to make guys miss, and he can run through guys, and he's got the speed to match that Rashad Penny. And Kerryon Johnson, just an absolute beast, like an absolute athlete at running back. He's got the size and the speed too, like the other guys, and he's just got that power. Just under 1,400 yards this year for Auburn, so Kerryon Johnson, wouldn't mind taking him with the 42nd pick in the second round. But my number one choice would be Ronald Jones II with the 42nd overall pick. Okay, so moving on to wide receiver. So the wide receivers that I think we should be taking a look at in the second round with the 42nd overall pick, DJ Moore of Maryland, Christian Kirk, Texas A&M, James Washington, Oklahoma State, Deon Cain, Clemson, Simi Cobbs Jr., Indiana, and Anthony Miller, Memphis. Anthony Miller earlier on was more of a fifth round, was considered more of a fifth round option, but the more teams and fans are beginning to discover just how talented this guy is, the more he's moving up. He has all the makings of a great NFL wide receiver, Anthony Miller. He looks incredibly similar to Antonio Brown out there on the field. 5'10", incredible ball skills, incredible just catching ability, and just being able to beat double teams and single man coverage. Anthony Miller from Memphis. While I'm not really big on us taking him with the 42nd overall pick, I really think he's going to tear the league up. So Anthony Miller is definitely a guy you guys should be looking out for. DJ Moore, he could go in the first round. That's how talented he is. Really like that guy. He's similar player to Kenny Stills. Christian Kirk, I think he'd be tremendous in the slot as a slot wide receiver. He's got tremendous burst and acceleration and great catching ability. Christian Kirk would be an awesome Jarvis Landry replacement if we do go ahead and trade him. James Washington, Oklahoma State. He's been considered as mostly a first round pick, but I think the more scouts and NFL talent evaluators look at his tape, the more he's looking like a second round pick. But he just had tremendous production with Mason Rudolph at Oklahoma State, especially the last 2 years. James Washington really could go late first round if teams really love him, or anywhere from mid to early second round. Deon Cain, Clemson, talented guy, similar to DeAndre Hopkins, just a tiny bit shorter. Simi Cobbs Jr., Indiana, he's a big wide receiver, 6'4", 220. I honestly haven't seen much tape, but he's being considered by a lot as a second round pick, so many guys I trust have him going in the second round. So a guy of his size could maybe eventually be a Devontae Parker replacement if he doesn't get his shit together. So those are the main guys there. There's another couple guys who could creep into the second round, but that will probably show later on in the draft process. With it only being late February now, the combine's definitely going to shine light on guys who are worthy of much higher selections. Okay, so moving on to tight end. There really is only one option here in the second round, and that's Dallas Goedert. Mark Andrews was maybe a choice in the second round, but he's definitely slipped out of the second round in my opinion. Dallas Goedert looks exactly like Jordan Reed out there on the field. Redskins tight end. Dallas Go Dirt is just a tremendous athlete. He's got tremendous hands. He just made incredible catches this year for South Dakota State. His production in 2016 was just incredible, and he's definitely going to be taken in the second round. And I'd love to see him on the Dolphins. We're obviously in dire need of talented tight ends, so Dallas Go Dirt, he would be absolutely awesome for our offense. Alright, so that's it for tight end. Just honestly, just one option there with the 42nd overall pick, and that's Dallas Go Dirt. Moving on to tackle, Tyrell Crosby of Oregon, Brian O'Neill, Martinez Rankin, Mississippi State, and Desmond Harrison, West Georgia. Those are all huge dudes. Desmond Harrison, 6'7", 300 plus pounds. Martinez Rankin, another huge dude. Brian O'Neill, incredibly solid tackle. Definitely could step in at right tackle. And Tyrell Crosby at Oregon played. He was linked to. It was probably fake news, but he was linked to the Dolphins last week. Of us looking at him with our 42nd overall pick. He played left tackle for Oregon. He was incredibly dominant, and I think he'd make a great right tackle in the league or left tackle. But yeah, any of those guys would be awesome, and I'm sure a couple of them can step in and play guard. So moving on to guard, my second favorite guard in the draft, Billy Walsh, behind Quentin Nelson. There's a good chance that Billy Walsh could be taken in the first round. He's got center and guard versatility. He's got a mean streak and just the technique and ability to match. Incredibly similar player to Quentin Nelson. Probably just a tad below, Quentin Nelson's ability. But Billy Walsh is just got all the ability in the world, and that center and guard versatility. Really could see him being taken first round or early second. Another second round option is Will Hernandez, UTEP. This guy is just strictly a power guard. Similar body type to Isaac Asiata. Pretty similar weight. He played left guard for UTEP, so he'd be an awesome pick there with the second pick. Our second pick, 42nd overall pick. I keep wanting to say second overall pick, but it's a 42nd overall pick. Okay, so moving on to center, James Daniels of Iowa. This guy is definitely gonna run under 5 seconds at the combine. I mean, I really think he could maybe run faster than Teron Armstead did, left tackle for the Saints. I mean, Teron Armstead ran a 4.7, and if you watch James Daniels, center for Iowa, that guy is an incredible athlete. Like, he is incredibly quick. Like, he really does not look like an offensive lineman out there on the field, man. He looks more like a defensive end. That's how athletic he is. And with Mike Pouncey's hip issues, I really would love us taking a talented center early that can maybe play guard. Okay, so moving on to the opposite side of the trenches, interior defensive linemen, defensive tackles, the big boys. Harrison Phillips of Stanford is an option there. Taven Bryan, Florida, and Derek Nardi of Florida State. Three incredibly talented dudes. Harrison Phillips could easily be a first-round pick. I mean, that guy, his production the past few years just been off the charts, especially after Solomon Thomas leaving for the NFL. Harrison Phillips was really able to shine this year for Stanford and just racked up incredibly numbers, especially in the TFL category. Taven Bryan, he's an early candidate to leave for the draft. Only played 2 years, but obviously felt like he put enough great tape out there to warrant an early draft pick, second or third round. Haven't seen much on him, but heard great things. Derek Nardi of Florida State. I think he's more of a nose tackle. I'm not really sure, but he's another talented guy at defensive tackle with the 42nd overall pick. Would be an awesome pickup for us, especially with Ndamukong Suh's inflated contract and the promise of Devon Godshaw and Vincent Taylor. More Devon Godshaw. I mean, that guy played incredibly well his first year, and his play can only go up from here. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Gerald McCoy, Godshaw, so he's got tremendous promise, and any three of these guys I'd love for a defensive line room. Okay, so moving on to defensive end, Dorrance Armstrong Jr. of Kansas, incredible amount of production this year. Hercules Mataafa, Washington State. Arden Key, LSU, and I think it's Uchenna Wusu of USC. Hercules Mataafa of Washington State. For some reason, they played him a lot of defensive tackle. I mean, the guy's built like a defensive end, but he might be, along with Bonia Okoronkwo, Hercules Mataafa, he's just his first step is so incredibly quick. Like, he's just going to be an awesome defensive end in the league, similar to DeMarcus Lawrence and Von Miller. No idea why Washington State played him so much in the interior. He's playing mostly like a 2 or 3 technique. He should have been playing on the outside as an outside linebacker or defensive end, but for some reason they thought the best matchup for him would be on the inside of the line. So Mataafa, Washington State, incredibly explosive dude. Would love him on the team. Arden Key of LSU, he's been dropping down the draft boards. I mean, he was considered a top 10, top 15 pick, but just his personality and off the field problems have really made him slide in this year's draft. So maybe the Dolphins would take a chance on him, but I'd rather skip him in the second round. But he probably will be there. And Wusu of USC, I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name again, but he had a lot of pressures this year, over 40 pressures this year for USC. Right, he looks like more of a 3-4 outside linebacker, but you never know. Some guys can translate to a 4-3 defensive end. So those are the main guys there at defensive end with the 42nd overall pick. Moving on to linebacker, only one guy here who I think is worthy is Malik Jefferson of Texas. Explosive dude. He built like an NFL linebacker. Got the athleticism to match. He would just be an awesome outside linebacker for the Dolphins. Okay, so moving on to cornerback. We got Carlton Davis of Auburn. Jair Alexander of Louisville, MJ Stewart, North Carolina, and Mike Hughes, UCF. 4 incredibly talented dudes. Wouldn't mind taking on the corner. You're always going to need corners, especially with Bobby McCain and Tony Lippett coming into their 4th years. If any of these guys can step up and play incredibly well, that just makes those guys expendable. So, all 4 of those guys would be awesome on the Dolphins. Okay, so moving on to safety. Last position here. Marcus Allen, Penn State. Jordan Whitehead of Pitt. Terrell Edmonds, Virginia Tech. Deshaun Elliott, Texas. And Amani Watts of Texas A&M. Marcus Allen just looks like has a look of a great NFL safety. He's been listed on many platforms as a free safety, but he plays more like a strong safety. Plays a lot in the box, but I think he could be interchangeable. He's got the ability, the range, the tackling ability to play free safety or strong safety. So Marcus Allen, Penn State would be awesome. Jordan Whitehead, Pittsburgh, another talented guy, could definitely play free safety. Terrell Edmonds, Virginia Tech. He's more of a strong safety, nickel linebacker, but I'm not sure if he's I haven't researched that if he's related to Tremaine Edmonds, Terrell Edmonds. So I'm sure that explosiveness would run in the family. Deshaun Elliott of Texas. This guy looks more like a 3rd or 4th rounder, but his athleticism and explosiveness is just truly impressive. And he's got similar athleticism to Jalen Ramsey, and the other one of the top safeties that will be gone the first round. Can't remember his name. Florida State 6'3" guy, but he's got similar athleticism. Deshaun Elliott, more of a third or fourth rounder, but who knows? He might be worthy reaching in the second round, but I highly doubt it. And Amani Watts of Texas A&M, great athlete, great instincts, and he's got great range as a free safety. So Amani Watts, similar to Deshaun Elliott, he's more of a third, fourth, maybe fifth rounder, third, fourth rounder, but Amani Watts definitely would be welcome as a safety, especially with Matt Burke floating it out there that they want to maybe use. Oh my God, it's completely slipped my mind. The other safety, other starting safety, not Rashad Jones, the other guy who we signed. Completely slipping my mind now, but you guys know who he is. That's it, TJ McDonald. TJ McDonald might be better as a linebacker hybrid. So a free safety is definitely in the mix for us in the second, third, or fourth round, maybe even sixth round. Okay, so that's it for all the positions. Much more longer video than I anticipated. I mean, the offense took well over 13 minutes, and I'm sure the defense has put us over the 20-minute mark. But those are all the guys there. Many ways we can go, many more options in the first round, and honestly can't go wrong in the second round. There's a number of talented guys you can pick up. I mean, the biggest whiff we've had the last couple of years is Jordan Phillips, but Xavier Howard has shown that second round talent, and Jarvis Landry has just been incredible over his 4 years with us. Hoping he re-signs, or we get some nice compensation back in a trade. But you can always get a very talented dude in the second round, and I'm sure the Dolphins will be doing it in the 2018 draft. I'm really liking what Chris Greer has been doing in the draft past couple of years. He's got an awesome eye for talent, and I'm really looking forward to who they're going to be picking with our 42nd overall pick on the second day. Alrighty guys, that's it for this video. Make sure to give me all the feedback you want. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you disagree with me, or if you think these guys are more third, fourth round picks, or fifth rounders, or even first rounders. Alrighty guys, as always, fins up baby. See you guys in the next video.